I had a friend in high school who had been on a mission trip with Casas por Cristo, and he had told me that he thought that this school he had visited was a super awesome school and that it'd be a really good fit for me. I, at the time, was an elementary education and Spanish major, so he thought that a school that speaks Spanish would be a good fit. But he told me, I don't really know a whole lot about this school. You should talk to my friend who has been an intern there. So I started to talk to his friend who had been an intern, and through her, I started to really feel God pulling me to Guatemala. I decided that it would be a good idea to talk to the intern coordinator before I made any final decisions. So I talked to the intern coordinator, and through him, I really found that God was calling me to Guatemala, and specifically to this school. So I signed up for my first internship. I had one internship, then I was dying to have another one, but COVID happened and I was not able to do a second one. And so the next summer that I was able to do an internship, I did it. So I did a total of 2 internships. And at the end of my second internship was when I really started to feel God's calling to be a full-time missionary in Guatemala. As a Morning Glory Christian Academy missionary, I will be creating a special education program. For this program, I will first focus on creating a tiered program so that we can identify the students that are struggling and need more assistance. After doing this, we will create a referral process and then start setting up special education services for the students who have been identified with an intellectual or developmental disability. My passion for serving those with intellectual and developmental disabilities started when I was in high school. In high school, I was chapter president of my Best Buddies chapter. Best Buddies is an organization that works to pair people with intellectual and developmental disabilities into one-on-one friendships with those who do not. After high school, I knew I wanted to pursue some sort of career or path with those who had intellectual disabilities, but I didn't know what that would look like. Little did I know that in college I would pursue a degree of special education, I would get licensed in special education, I would student teach in special education, and I would run my own differently abled ministry. In this ministry, Differently Abled, I worked with people from the Anderson community who had intellectual and developmental disabilities. We worked with different communities such as the adult community at a nursing home that had a life path wing, and with younger communities such as Northview Church, where we worked to create respite nights. From this has grown my love for those who have intellectual and developmental disabilities to the point where I want to do it as a career. That is why I have chosen to work with those who have intellectual and developmental disabilities in Guatemala to be able to serve them and to work on a model of inclusion. I've chosen to partner with Morning Glory Christian Academy because of the great need I have seen in the community of San Raimundo and in Guatemala. In Guatemala, it is seen as shameful oftentimes to have a child with disabilities. Oftentimes, if you have a child with disabilities, you either give them up for adoptions or you keep them in the house because you do not have the means to either take them out or because it is so shameful that you do not want to be seen with your child. It is my goal to help to break this stigma. It is my goal to help to create an idea of inclusion where families and children feel supported and that they can come to school and learn like a typical child would. As a Morning Glory Christian Academy missionary, I believe there are 2 challenges that I will face. The first of these is accessibility. Accessibility to the testing resources we need, accessibility to different items that our students might need, such as wheelchairs, and also accessibility for our students to be able to get to school. Many of our students live up in the mountains, and so as a student with disabilities, their parents will have to carry them all the way down the mountain. This can often be a large feat for those parents. The second challenge I believe we will face is facing the stigmas of the community. It is a stigma that if you have a child with disabilities, that you have created some sin that has given you a child with disabilities. And to break down these stigmas and walls will be definitely a challenge that we will face. My hope is that the long-term impact of this ministry will be felt in the community. that we will be able to start to spread the idea of inclusion and stop the spread of exclusion. That we will be able to help families feel proud of their child that they have that has disabilities and not feel shameful of that child. If you would like to know more about this ministry or you feel called to give, go to morningglorystory.org/give and put Kaylee Russell in the comments.